Now,
Should we
it
show them
works
all of
on
our stuff?
Twitch or something?
It is working?
Maybe? Yep, it's working now. That's super weird. What the hell, man?
Why don't you try Facebook Live, bro?
Because I don't have to use Facebook Live.
You don't know? Oh, you don't have to.
No, but then I have to.
So ungrateful. We host you in our house.
Wait, is it
Just
streaming
like
right
This
now?
is your house? Yeah, it's live. I gotta post it to people, though, because people don't know that we're doing it here. So we said we were doing it somewhere else.
Let's do it, boy. So we shouldn't say anything confidential.
Just start with all the confidential things.
Okay, cool.
What's up, guys?
Hi, everyone.
Did you see this drawing? Yeah, it's fancy. Also, Gabe's here.
Hello.
Gabe showed up. He joined in.
I don't even know if Gabe made it into the picture. There we go.
Hello.
You can open up Twitch and you can see it then.
Gabe, what do you work on?
I am a designer of things in Facebook.
Cool.
VR.
That's right. Yeah.
That stands for
Viral
viral.
representation.
Viral realty.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Thanks.
Really, really interesting.
Good times.
Cool. What are we doing?
All right. So Daniel, I'll post some stuff. I love the frame the problem. Nice.
This is Daniel
Daniel Beer.
Beer.
Alright.
Hi, Daniel. This is a
Right.
Mac app icon design for an app that generates images of code snippets to share on social channels. Okay.
Ooh,
Cool. So the logo is already on the
so
internet.
this is what the actual thing is.
Cool.
It shows an image of the code.
Why not the code itself? What's the use case?
I don't fully know.
Somewhat new to logo designs, looking for feedback on the general design of the icon. The colors come from the colors of the syntax theme. I'm trying to convey the idea of sharing code with it. And circular rings. What do circular rings have to do with... Wait, can you go back to the text? I didn't read it off.
Whoa.
The idea of sharing code with circular rings. I'm not sure how that relates.
Circular rings for sharing. And
Oh.
syntax.
Got
Those
it.
things for syntax.
Also intrusive background stuff. Cool.
Hmm.
Can you start, Bryn?
So, okay. So, hold on a second. Mac app icons. They have guidelines for it. That one specifically, I think, is for general apps. I think what you're describing is a utility app. They have specific types.
Utility.
Okay, so these are utility apps. No, utility apps are down here. So these are the generic ones. These are utility apps. Or 5 examples that you use. Anyway, so that just make sure that it's the right style for whichever kind of app you're doing. I like that you did it in perspective, although it doesn't really match the perspective of the icon itself. So you might want to shift that so it's straight down instead of kind of off to the side. But that's something that Apple themselves kind of push for. You might also want it to be like a darker outline in the background as well, so a darker shadow.
Wait, can we go to the new one?
I do like this much better.
I like this
That's
better
much
without
cleaner.
the lines.
You might want to use linear gradients or something to kind of give the depth that that kind of icon is supposed to have. It's supposed to be slightly domed out toward you. That might help, actually. You can kind of have that front piece kind of floating off the surface.
Yeah, so he's trying to look at your doc to see if you have anything similar.
Well, even
Sort of like an
even though
it's
even
like an
this is like
iTunes
slightly domed. That one's slightly domed. What else?
iTunes. What's the iTunes one look like? Yeah.
It's like slightly domed there. That one's very realist. This one's kind of inset, but still kind of carries that dome. Dashboard, definitely domed.
Yeah.
I know Google Chrome doesn't do it. They're pretty
Launchpad,
flat.
less
GitHub.
domed.
Yeah.
Launchpad,
Yeah.
domed.
And you can kind of see they actually do the drop shadow to the side a little bit, but it also has a light surface on the top. Oh no, it's top
pretty
and bottom.
straight down, yeah. That bevel.
Yeah, bevel dough.
Yeah, those lines seem a little gratuitous to me. I don't know why. Like it's trying to balance the line between flat design and a little bit skeuomorphic with the drop shadow, and there's a different drop shadow under the white circle. I'm curious to see what the reason for that is. Well, the icon itself has a blurred drop shadow.
Oh yeah. They don't have the same, like, they don't look like they occupy the same space.
Yeah. Also, like, there's already icons for sharing that people associate with sharing, like the Android one or the iOS one.
Well, this one kind of feels like a variation on it. Like the Android one is just like this thing rotated sideways, right?
Well,
but with the two lines.
Yeah. So I think I don't know, but imagine the concept behind the icon, the Android sharing is one thing become two things, because when you share, you multiply distribution. Where this doesn't have that connotation. That's just a circle of distribution. And the same thing with the iOS one is taking something from a square and putting it outside of that context.
Also, I think if you like search community icon, you're gonna end up with something very similar to what he showed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I could see an argument for either side.
I feel like you could do something cool with, because the iOS sharing is already kind of like a square, and the code brackets kind of look like a square. So I wonder if you could do something there where you kind of merge those two concepts together.
That could be really interesting. There's a lot of possibilities there.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about how to talk about icon design because it feels a lot more subjective than something else. But well, for me, the colors, like, I know you're going for the code highlighting, but like red and green, I don't know if that means something, and then being separated by all these black, which doesn't really happen in code. Usually it's like red, then green, then blue, then yellow.
Your colors aren't separated by black in between them? Do you not use a dark theme?
No, but if you have like a function and then a variable, it's going to be two colors next to each other. The black and the gray is more for like background and sidebar. So the way the colors are separated, I don't understand that it's like the syntax. And they're also super muted. I don't know. I guess it depends on the theme you use, but the themes I use, they're like really bright pastels, and these are like pretty muted tones.
Yeah.
And then separated by the grays, like I can't even...
For what it's worth, I think the colors are actually nice together, even maybe not this usage, but I think those are like a good color choice. But stylistically, I just like it all to feel like it's in the same space in some way, or like kind of that it all fits together. So whether that's using a like subtle gradient on top of here to make this feel like it's kind of curving with the rest of the icon and kind of doming the rest of it, which is probably just a simple like shadow overlay or something like that, would probably help a lot.
What do you guys think of, like, there's a lot of directions going on, so the code is right to left, and then the background's bottom left to top right, and then the circle is circle, so there's 3 directions happening. I don't know if that matters in icon design, but for me, like, it makes it feel like not coherent, like they don't play.
Incongruous?
Yeah, they're clashing, like the directions, the movement across is clashing, like the triangles are horizontal, but the background's pulling my eyes somewhere else.
That is an interesting piece, because if the background is supposed to represent like the treatment of the code,
it would be
those
horizontal.
Brackets are also like that. Those are code units, right? Like,
it'd be horizontal.
Yeah.
I think it would help.
I don't know that matters in this case, but yeah.
I was gonna say it would help to understand the context for this. So
yeah,
if like, well, I mean, like the context of use. So if it's an app icon, to see it in a doc among other app icons that the same kind of flow would necessitate. So like,
see if it's a good doc citizen.
Yeah.
Also,
or like the home screen citizen argument, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah. Or like maybe you'll use Sublime Text and this. So like, just see if it passes the squint text next to those icons. If it belongs to the same family or something like that.
Maybe it's just me, but I feel like for Mac icons, you can also get a little more creative. Like for me, you have the circle, which is the icon container, and then you have the circle inside of it, which you're kind of using to represent sharing. I wonder if you could use like the app icon itself, the container, to represent the sharing somehow. Like if you moved these dots out and like had sort of a cutout icon instead, so you don't have 2 circles. I don't know.
But I think the most important thing is that it's recognizable, right? That
Yeah.
that you can navigate to it, and when
Sure.
you see it, you think of code snippet sharing.
Sure.
So
Or even this, just so you know what it is. Like, for example, GitHub's like, I mean, that doesn't convey what it does or anything. It's just, it tells you that it's that thing, right? Like,
They're also very branded, though, right?
yeah, but it looks like this will be too, right? Like, if that's what they're using for identity everywhere, then I don't know.
Okay.
I don't necessarily know that this is the best glyph for identity everywhere. I think it feels very specific to a doc, but
there's 3 concepts there that you can play with for the
Mhm.
icon. There's code as a concept, image as a concept, and then
Sure.
sharing as a concept. So I feel like there's already iconic representations with those 3 words. So mixing those 3 together into an icon could be really interesting.
I do think this is a really interesting idea, though. Like, like visually, like just looking at it from like arm's length kind of view, like it is visually appealing.
Yep.
What else should we do?
I think we have time for one more.
Probably.
Maybe 1.5.
Farmers market. This is like a whole identity thing.
Can we do a product
A product?
or UI or something?
Ah, yes. Brian doesn't do icons.
I mean, we can. I
Just kidding.
not going to be able to add as much value.
Can we review this picture and like?
Yeah, for sure. You want to know the context of that one? We were going to Hawaii.
We were. Oh shit! Why did I open the same one again?
Buddy.
I know.
You guys want to step out?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I gave...
No,
no,
I was joking. That was in 5 minutes.
Okay.
You're going to make it to 20 in 5 minutes?
I can make it happen.
That's really impressive, actually.
He's very fast.
Okay, context.
I'm redesigning a Dutch software company's website. I'm still very much in the process of designing it, so there may or may not be a few sloppy mistakes, and I definitely need to use color more frequently. That's an interesting idea.
That's an interesting way to say it.
I'm especially looking for help with the following, but of course any feedback is really appreciated. General, every page. How can I improve the readability of the text on the hero images and improve them visually? I feel like the current approach, while also not great when it comes to readability, does not make the images look very appealing. You guys have any tips on how to improve the horizontal and vertical rhythm of each page? I'm using an 8-point grid, but still find these things really hard to get right. Artboard. How can I signify that the icons in the first row on the home page are clickable, but the icons in the second row are not? I feel like it's a bad idea to let the users find out themselves by making them hover over every single icon in its text.
That is true.
Are there better solutions than, e.g., learn more links? Interesting.
Sure. Oh.
Ah.
Yeah, definitely
Ooh.
would never have guessed.
Okay, so there's a really interesting case for this, like that just came out. Meg Robichaux wrote a piece on spot illustrations versus icons. That could be very useful for this. Or you could always just lay them back more so they don't feel active, and maybe brighten these ones up. Maybe.
Wait. But he's asking, those are clickable and these are not clickable.
Also, maybe don't give them the exact same treatment.
They shouldn't have the same treatment
grid.
or the same style. Like,
Beautiful icons, though.
yeah, they're great.
If you put them on a different grid, like you could put this text to the side of it or something, or like maybe shrink them down so it's just next to this Agile and Scrum, and then left align everything, and then do two columns of 2 rows each. That would make it feel significantly different.
I mean, there's a few things for me. I guess he is asking purely for visual feedback, right? He's not asking, like, what's the intent of this page? Cause
Well, readability as well.
readability, but like, what's the point of your website? Because right now, there's no primary call to action,
It
no
looks like
calls
a
to
studio.
action, no calls to action, no calls to action, no calls to action, no calls to action, and then at the very bottom there's a call to action, which looks like maybe something learn
That
more.
was like, yeah.
So that's my first question is like, what's the point? Because if these should be calls to action, then they should like be a call to action, like click here to do this, or this does something. You can do that clearly with text, I think.
Yeah, so I would be curious to see where these top three columns lead to, and that could be something you could illustrate with a very clear button that you can tap. Because I do like this layout, like
Tap.
click. There, like the really nice illustration followed by text, like just looks very nice, but it doesn't seem like it would take you anywhere else. So having just like you said, a call to action on each column.
Well, even if it was like right here,
Yeah,
it'd be a great spot.
have a primary call to action. Yeah.
Like it kind of looks like it's a studio with the expertises and cases, and this looks like work and contact. Like if it's a studio, then like get started on a project or something like that would be, I mean, a pretty good call to action.
I personally feel like, unless it's, I can't think of many examples of websites that don't want you to do something besides like maybe news, which is just to read and it's just text. But in this case, I don't feel compelled to do anything, right? Like I'm just reading.
Well, that's just because you're stubborn.
I'm reading news. Well, it's not. I obviously can't understand the language, but oh, is it just Lipsum? Yeah. Oh, I thought it was another language. I guess it is Latin or something.
Well, this isn't. Well, some of this is, but these aren't.
Yeah, it's like half and half. Okay. I don't know. I just don't know what I'm supposed to do on this website.
I mean, in terms of visuals, vertical rhythm seems really, really nice. I think it's just a matter of, like you said,
The structure, the overall layout is really nice.
It looks
And like these illustrations are fantastic.
very pretty.
you gotta
Love
lead
this
the user to a certain path. This is easy, I imagine, to get lost and lose interest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really know where to go with it. Like this looks like a call to action,
Right.
but why isn't there another one up here?
Or make it accent color to make it stand out. I don't know. I don't want to get tuned into the nitty gritty if he's just looking for.
As far as on the images, I think you could probably use scrims instead of, or like area scrims instead of a full image scrim.
What the hell is this?
It doesn't have. Well, it's that black like overlay thing.
No.
It's
Overlay?
called a scrim.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You can.
hear of scrims?
Have you heard of this?
I've
never heard this.
You can put a zero offset, very highly blurred, like drop shadow on text on the web, and then that works really well too. A bunch of other websites do that, and that helps legibility while not blurring out the entire photo.
Yep.
So if it's a really good, like vibrant photo, you don't want to dim it.
Yep.
Because when you put black on it, it doesn't just like change the color; it actually lowers the saturation significantly. So it makes your images plus vibrant.
Okay.
Cool. I have 4 minutes to walk a mile.
Bye.
But thank you guys.
Good to see you, Gabe.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for randomly showing up.
Yeah, have a good one.
Here, we can scoot over. Center. Yeah. I mean, okay, visually it's beautiful. I just don't know like what you want people to do. I obviously can't understand it, so maybe it's way more clear if you can read this, but like
That's a software company.
Yeah, so it's a software company. What do you want people to do? Is it to download your software? Is it to hire you to build software? Is it to look at your past work? Like, tell me what to do. That's my feedback. I think that actually, language aside, like the sign of a really great experience is one that you can just navigate without having to read the words, which is really hard. But you can do that with color and offset and buttons to help guide people through. Like, this is what you do. A good example that would be like download a Chinese or some other country shopping app and see if you can buy a thing. And they actually have pretty amazing design because you can't read a word on the page, but you can somehow manage to get through a checkout flow. And for me, that's a really great experience in here. I'm not really sure.
I don't know where I would go. Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet. I actually have to run too.
Cool. I
That
have
was
to
a
run
short
too. This was a short one.
Thanks, people.
Thanks, Internet.